Hey everyone! Today we're going to take you back to our time in Mexico. As you saw in a previous video, on our way back north through Mexico, we hit our highest point ever at 14,600 feet when we hiked the dormant volcano La Malinche. Now, I thought that was a pretty great record, but I should have known better. Little did I know that Kendrick was only going to give me 2 rest days before making me try to get even higher.
Since we began planning our trip to Mexico, I had my eyes set on a few big mountains. After climbing La Malinche, our next big objective was the 17,160 foot dormant volcano Iztaccihuatl, or Izta for short. Izta's nearby, slightly taller, constantly smoking, sometimes erupting neighbor is known as Popo. The legend of these two towering volcanoes tells a tragic love story dating back thousands of years to the glory days of the Aztec Empire.
So, here's the really short version. Popo was a brave warrior and he was madly in love with the daughter of a mighty ruler. Her name was Izta, well, for short. Popo was sent off to battle with the promise of Izta's hand in marriage when he returned victorious. A rival of Popo sent a false message of his death and Izta died brokenhearted. Popo was devastated and carried Izta's body high into the mountains where he died beside her.
The gods then turned Izta and Popo into the volcanoes you see today, with Popo holding his torch and watching over his princess while she sleeps. Legend says that when Popo remembers his love, his heart shakes and his torch smokes, which is why Popo still smokes and erupts to this very day.
Knowing the history and folklore of the mountains helped us to have a deeper appreciation for not only the beauty, but also the culture of the area.
Our hike up Izta would begin at 13,000 feet elevation. From the town of Amecameca, we had nearly 5,000 vertical feet to drive just to get to the trailhead. This gave us plenty of time to try catching our breath in the thin air and to think about the next day's big hike.
I have to admit, I was pretty nervous as we kept driving up and up. 14,600 feet was the highest I had ever been, and we had done that just a few days prior. Compound that with the fact that we had just spent months running at sea level on the beach, and I wasn't feeling too confident about making it to the top of Izta.
First, we had to stop by the National Park Visitor Center to buy our permits to camp at the trailhead parking lot. In total, it cost us about $2.35 for our park permits. Not too shabby, especially when you consider the cost of camping in the U.S. national parks.
We weren't really sure what to expect for conditions on the hike, so we probably erred on the side of packing a little too much. Well, we're here at 13,000 feet, getting ready to go up in the morning. We got all our warm winter gear because it's going to be cold up there, and our micro spikes, and Kendrick's taking an axe, so should we good? Of course, the most important items were plenty of warm clothing and my camera. I pared down our camera equipment to just the Nikon D850 and a 24-70mm lens.
We chose to cover most of our skin with long clothing throughout most of the day, even though it did get a little bit hot. But the sun is pretty strong at 17,000 feet, and we felt it was best just to avoid sunburns. Also, just like La Malinche, I brought a thermos full of hot coffee.
Before starting our hike, we had one thing left to do: try to get some sleep at 13,000 feet. Believe it or not, the Aldi heating system in our Tab Rocky worked all night, even at 13,000 feet.
So when our 3 a.m. wake-up call came around, it wasn't too hard to get up and get coffee and breakfast going.
So we got up and hit the trail at 4 a.m. All right, it's about 4 a.m. and we're getting ready to head up Iztaccihuatl something I can't pronounce.
We'll call it Izta.
Izta. It's big. I'm nervous, but I'm feeling good, so.
Should be fun. Our first 30 minutes on the trail didn't seem too promising for either one of us. We can definitely feel the thin air at 13,000 feet with every breath we tried to take.
We spent the first several hours hiking in the dark, with our worlds confined to the size of our headlamp beams.
But eventually, we started getting our breathing in check, and every step seemed to get a little bit easier.
Right before the sun started to rise, the temperature dropped and I was freezing.
We've just reached 15,000 feet. Woo! Highest elevation either one of us has ever been at. Had kind of a rough start at 13,000 feet and not breathing too well for probably 30 minutes or so, but feels like we've hit our stride and we're moving pretty good.
I stopped to put some toe warmers in, and I got my camera out because despite how cold I am, I can't pass up the opportunity to shoot a sunrise. But at this point, I had a lot of uncertainty about reaching the top.
But luckily, the toe warmers, the rising sun, and our thermos full of hot coffee was enough to get her warm and back on track.
We just reached the top of a ridge. We're at 15,400 feet. Eee!
The sun's out and it's starting to kind of warm us up a little bit, but it's still kind of cold up here.
Once my hands and feet warmed up, the rest of the hike was just an amazing experience.
For those who can't make the entire journey up Izta in one day, there's a climber shack at around 15,000 feet that's still used today, and we got to explore that a little bit.
Despite many steep ascents up loose rocks, every step brought a new, beautiful view. Yay! We're at 16,000 feet! And we just climbed up what I hope will be one of the hardest parts. It was, you can't really see, but right down there, it was just like straight up for way too long. It seemed like every time we looked over towards Popo, he had smoke billowing into the sky. Woo! We are about to go across the snowiest bit of the trail, which is that, which leads up to those two peaks right there.
My favorite part was the snowfield crossings. After being on the beach for months, it was nice to finally see snow again.
And after 7.5 hours of hiking, we finally reached the top of Izta. Holy camole, we made it. I honestly didn't think we'd make it.
We are sitting at 17,200 feet elevation on top of a volcano that we can't pronounce, so we just call it Izta.
Izta. Izta's historical lover, Popo, is that volcano, which is active, so we're not allowed to climb it. That's been a pretty cool view this whole time. For me, it was an amazing experience after starting the morning full of doubt. I was a little worried about going up so high, but Kendrick has been great about pushing me out of my comfort zone little by little and getting me to try new things.
Mandy has always been great anytime I suggest some crazy sounding outing in the mountains, and I think each time she surprises herself just a little bit.
We sat on the summit with one another for about 30 minutes just taking in the serene view.
This is 17,200 feet. I've always loved the view from the top of the mountains. On Izta, we could see Popo smoking, Mexico's highest point, Pico de Orizaba, off in the distance, our previous record high point, La Malinche, and Mexico City, almost 10,000 feet below. One of the many reasons I love the mountains is because they always have a way of reminding me just how small I am in the grand scheme of things.
Well, we halfway did it. We still have to get down.
We do? Oh man. This was a new highest elevation for both of us. But remember that no matter what new record you might be setting for yourself, it's still a new memory. Kendrick and I set a new record that we won't soon forget, even if we decide to go higher. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram at Mandy Lee Photo. For more information on our photography workshops and guided backpacking trips, check out mandyleephoto.com. So, here's to climbing to even higher heights. Love and light. Oh my gosh, we just made it back down.
Now we're all the way done,
Oh my gosh.
not just halfway.